soft pastry filled with cheese. You don't need a reason to make it, and you can enjoy it today. Wonderful. We start the preparation by activating the yeast. In a small bowl, we put 30 grams of fresh yeast or 8 to 10 grams of dry yeast. We add 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of flour, and 200 milliliters of lukewarm milk. We mix it all together well and let the yeast activate for about 10 minutes. When the yeast has activated nicely like this, in a mixing bowl, we put 700 grams of all-purpose flour. We add 1 tablespoon of salt and then mix it all. Then we pour in 200 milliliters of lukewarm water, 50 milliliters of oil. We add 1 whole egg, and then this activated yeast. Now we mix everything with a wooden spoon. If it's easier for you, you can do it by hand or use a mixer. After a while, you remove this excess from the wooden spoon, then continue kneading by hand. Knead gently and don't press down. The dough is sticky, but to avoid getting your whole hand sticky, transfer it slowly. Add 20 to 30 milliliters of oil. Dip your hand, turn the whole dough and knead. The oil prevents sticking and helps it come together. When the dough sticks to your hand again, pour another 20 milliliters of oil, dip your hand, tuck it underneath, and turn. And now knead it like this. Try hard to scrape off as much of this dough as possible, so none is left on your hands. And now that the dough is almost kneaded, or rather when it has almost absorbed the oil, fold all these edges into the center. Turn the dough over. Pat it down and let it rise in a warm place for 60 minutes. When the dough has risen, lightly sprinkle the work surface with flour. Transfer the dough there and just tuck these edges inside. Shape it into a circle. Turn it over and divide the dough into 4 parts. Shape each part further into a ball. Just join the edges inside. Sprinkle the work surface. Place these little dough balls here. Cover them with a cloth and let them rest for 5 minutes, which is how long it takes us to soften the butter. Remove the cloth and place it aside like this. Spread out the dough balls. Then take one like this. Press it down a bit, then stretch it out. You can stretch it into a circle or a rectangle, whichever is easier for you. For those stretching into a rectangle, press the center, leave the edges thicker, then do this left and right. It will straighten out and form almost a rectangle, which you will fix a bit more with a rolling pin. After stretching it like this, set it aside. The same procedure applies to the remaining 3 parts of the dough. I'm stretching the last piece of dough into a rectangle. as thinly as I can. After stretching the first piece of dough, spread it with softened butter. I softened 125 grams here. Take the second piece of dough, place it on top, then stretch these edges out like this and cover. Shape everything a bit more with your hand, what I would call patting. Then spread the second piece with butter. The third piece of dough goes on top. And then we spread it for the third time. I'm putting the fourth piece on top. Press everything down well with your hand again. Sprinkle with flour, of course. Turn it over. Then do the same on the other side. The dough is soft and stretches easily. But pat it. As you pat it, the dough will stretch. But you have to turn it over one more time. I'll show you why now. Here, look. The bottom layer, or rather the bottom part, is always stretched less. Layered doughs like this need to be turned multiple times. I'll take the rolling pin and continue stretching. I'll try to make it a rectangle, but if it's not a big deal. Don't get upset at all. Now we should cut them. Cut them into as many pieces as you want pieces to get, and whether you want your pastry to be large or small. For example, I'm cutting into 5, and like this, let me see. Is it too big for me? Well, we'll cut it into 5 anyway. Let's try to make them equal. But if they're not, what can you do? They'll be eaten anyway. And roughly, that's it. Since I added salt to the dough, the filling will be savory. By the way, this pastry can also be sweet. You can fill it with whatever you want. For this occasion, I prepared feta cheese, and 250 grams is enough. Water and brush in a cup. So I'll now take each edge, or rather 2 edges, where I'll be sticking, and brush them. Now take each end and fold it over to where you brushed with water. Place parchment paper in a large baking tray. Then arrange these little triangles. Cover with a cloth and let them rest for 20 to 30 minutes. When the pastry has risen, whisk 1 egg yolk with 1 tablespoon of milk. And now brush each part. After brushing, we can sprinkle with seeds we like as desired. Turn on the oven to preheat to 200 degrees Celsius, then take the pastry to bake. Now we'll take a look. Our deliciousness. Look at these layers, how nice and soft it is. I baked it for 25 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius, and then I brushed the hot pastry with a little butter and let it cool down. Look how nice it is. Enjoy.